Hello, this is Udo Dirkschneider, and I say hello to all the listeners and viewers of Mediator. And I'm looking forward to come to Russia on tour, and hopefully we see us there.
I wanted to start with a question. I know that you once said that you think that rock and roll should always be sang in English language. Why do you think is that? Is that like for historical reasons, or there is anything else?
No, you mean that you think that I'm always singing in English, the rock and roll music in English, or what do you mean?
Well, no, I just once watched your interview and I found it quite interesting because the interviewer asked you about singing in English.
In English,
and,
yeah.
Yes, and you said that you think that it's the concept of rock and roll.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was trying some stuff in German, but with a different band, you know,
Yeah.
in Germany, and it's quite difficult for me. It's like the sound in English, but I never was doing any song, U.D.O songs, or except some in German.
Yeah.
For me, it was always like in English, you know. I don't know why. Maybe it can be interesting one day to do one song in German. I don't know. But the most in general, let's say the rock and roll music is English.
Yeah. So it's just like historically.
It's I mean, maybe Rammstein, they are lucky, you know. They sing in German, and everybody is all over the world. They don't have any problems with that. But this is only happened with one band, you know. And I think if you want to go international, especially when I started with Accept, that was like, if you want to become international, there was only one choice. You can sing in English, you know, and that's why I keep going on with English.
Yeah. And you have recently released with U.D.O the new album called The Steel Factory, and this is the name which is not the same as the name of any of the songs on the album. So I was wondering, why did you want to call it this way?
Yeah, I mean, we was always using a song title, you know, and this time we said, nah, we want to do something different, you know. And then we was start thinking about what kind of title we can use for the album, and so then there was a lot of things happen, you know, Metal Factory, I don't know, Metal Forever, I don't know, there was so many things. And then, you know, we were talking about, they always call you, you're coming from the steel town in Solingen, they're making knives and all tools and all that stuff. They call you German tank, and all that was like talking about this. And then we came up with Steel Factory. So, and then in a way we are a factory producing steel music, you know, or metal music if you want. You can call it also, it was very near to call the album Metal Factory, you know, but Steel Factory is better.
How do you usually write songs as a collective? Like, are you constantly in this creative flow, or you kind of gather together, do something, and then kind of go on holidays until the next occasion?
There are two things. I mean, always when I'm on tour, if I see something, if I'm watching news on TV or something like that, I always write something down. Like I have tons of hook lines, you know, the titles, most of the songs, and. I have you see, if you walk traveling around the world and watching news on TV, you know, you get to have so many ideas already to write lyrics. But I'll just write them down very quickly, and and then when it comes to the point that we start composing, so the first thing is like I need the music, and then the first thing what I do is try to make a melody. Maybe sometimes with some stupid words, but just I need the melody, you know. Sometimes I have also some melodies, la 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 la, just on my phone, if I have an idea. And and then for me it's important that the melody fits together with the music. So, and then I see, okay, this hook line fits as a chorus for the song, and then I can start writing the lyrics for the song. It's not so easy to explain, but it's like also, you know, on this album especially, and I think that was a good thing to do this. This time we was 14 days in a rehearsal room, small studio, and we were jamming. Everybody came up with ideas, and it was really like working face to face. and the two albums before was more like working over the computer. You know, it was sending some links. Okay, can you listen to my idea? Can you do this? And there was and then this time we said, okay, now we want to do it completely different. And then we was going for nearly 2 weeks into the rehearsal room and really start working face to face. And that was, I think, a really good thing. And I said on the album.
And do you usually what you just completed the album? Do you have a lot of material which just did not got onto the album, or it's
it's always, sometimes you let's say for this album when we was in the studio, start jamming, having ideas, it was around 30, 35. So, and then very quick you say, okay, this idea, we are not using this. And then in the end it was 25, whatever. And then also you said, this is not the right feeling. And then in the end we end up with 16 songs. So, but we never, I cannot really remember, we never was using anything of the songs we throw away, It is not finished songs, it's just the idea. And if you put this away, then there is something wrong with, It's always good when you start working on a new album that you start also from the zero, and come up with new ideas. Otherwise, I don't think that will be a good idea to throwing away songs to start again to work with them. There's something wrong, forget it, bye-bye, and start with new stuff.
This time you were working with 2 new members. I'm sure everyone asks you about that, and your son.
Yes.
And then you have Andrei Smirnov.
Yes.
What was their impact of this, and how did you feel working with them?
Let's say the whole music is done by all of us,
Yeah.
So it's not that everybody have only this idea and then we do it. On all the songs instead of Rose in the Desert and the way I did it together with Andre alone, but the rest of the songs are all the 4 members, like Fiti, my son, Andre and me was working on the song. The only thing what I did alone was writing the lyrics. So everybody was involved in that, and that was also the point why we was doing face-to-face composing.
But when people change, they obviously bring different atmosphere and stuff. So you haven't worked with your son before, right?
No, I mean that for him was the first time he was recording the drums for a whole album. But he came up also with very interesting stuff. I mean the good thing is he is 24 years old. There's a completely different generation. Listen to music. He listened to music I don't listen to, and of course there was some interesting ideas coming up, So and that's why I think the basic is on this album, of course, classic metal. I call it classic metal, but with little things on there, the modern stuff, and also with Andre, he's coming up with a lot of Russian atmosphere, melodies, Oriental, Mongolian stuff.
Yeah.
So and the mix up what is making the whole album very interesting, I think.
Right, okay. Also, I wanted to ask about Fiti Winhold. He said that he's leaving, so he's not going to be with you anymore. And I wanted to ask if he's going to be anyhow involved in the future, or it's just a complete.
Let's say this way. Fiti. It was not easy for him, but he made the decision he doesn't want to tour anymore. He's tired of touring.
Oh, okay.
So everybody has to think about his own life, and he wants to be more with the family. He doesn't want to be away that long from a family. And also he's starting a completely new business that has nothing to do with music. And I will miss him, but definitely if we start working on a new album and he's coming up with some songs ideas, he is more than welcome, So, but there is no bad things going on. It was his own thing, And in a way you have to respect it. She's also 62 years old, has a family. For me, okay, I have also in a way a family, okay, but my son is 24, my daughter is 30 years old, so in a way I'm free, you know. I don't have to be close at home or whatever. So, and for me it's like music is, you said music is my life, you know, so I don't want to stop, and I'm not tired of touring. So for everybody, if he feels like this, you have to respect it, but of course I will miss him after 22 years on stage together. It was a long time, and he was also a very, how you call it, a present person on stage, you know. But I think I found a new bass player. He's young, 29 years old, and he's, in a way, we always was directly say, okay, this is pretty young, you know. He's really present on stage as he's for a long time already professional working. So I mean, I'm really looking forward. It was, I don't know, maybe I was lucky to find him, you know. It's like it was in a way also the lucky thing to also with the second guitar player, you know. But this time I took more time also for, let's say, to find the second guitar player for U.D.O. But the last two ones I was not really lucky, you know. There was not really a team player. The last one what I had from America, he was more rock and roll star and everything. I'm already the biggest, I'm the best, you know. He did some strange things, you know. He came up to me one in the nightlife in America and said, you know, why Andre is playing all the solos, I can do that better. That was already for me like, you know, and so I mean, this time then after the American tour, I said, okay guys, sorry, but that doesn't work with us. And then I was asking Steffen Kaufmann to help us out for the festivals over the summer. So, and that for me was the point to have time enough to find the right one. So this guy is 26 years old, young, let's say, unknown, definitely. Maybe some in the area where he's living, he's quite known, but as a guitar player, but not in general international. He's really like, he's, how you say this, burning inside, you know, really wants to do this. And so I'm looking forward to.
From what I know, you usually play rather long gigs. You usually perform for quite a long time. I think it's quite a challenging thing to do. Like the longer you actually perform, it's like kind of takes more power. So I was wondering, how do you feel about that? And also I noticed that nowadays there's this kind of tendency for acceleration, and I know that a lot of young musicians, they tend to kind of make it shorter and shorter and shorter. And I mean, I understand it, of course, depends on your physical abilities as well. But
I mean, in a way, of course, I mean, when in the beginning, you know, with a career, of course, it was more rock and roll, everything, you know, really parties nearly every night, stuff like that. But if you, I can only speak for myself. I mean, then I found out, okay, this is not possible if you have to do sometimes 5, 6, 7 shows in a row. And then, you know, and then, I tried always to stay healthy as possible. I never take any drugs, you know, and I'm not like an alcoholic. And I mean, I saw so many things in this business, you know, people, they start taking drugs, how they look, and also alcohol problems and all that stuff, and that was obvious for me. I don't want to end up like this. And I mean, for me it's like, I think I'm lucky with my health, you know, and also a lot of people asking me how you do it with your voice. I do nothing. The only thing what I did was stop smoking since 15 years. I was smoking 3 packs a day. That was a lot. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And and I try to stay healthy as possible. You know, I'm really wanna do this. I don't know, maybe for another 10 years. I don't know. You know, as long as everything works, as I'm healthy. And the most important thing for me is like that I still have fun to do this. You know, if I get the feeling, or I have the feeling, I'm tired of touring, like anyway, like feeling pity, maybe he was feeling like this, and always like to living always in the nightliner and flying around the world and all that stuff. If I get the feeling that I don't have fun anymore, then definitely I stop. That will be, you know, you cannot do this without fun. It's not like you cannot go on stage and another show. I'm so tired of this, you know. No, that means, of course, in a way, you after all these years, you have in a way, a routine, you know. So how you handle all this touring stuff, and but definitely the most important thing is that you still have fun to do this. That's the thing for me, you know. I still have fun to do this.
Earlier in summer, you did finish the tour with another project, Dirkschneider, which was where you were singing accept songs.
Yes.
And there was a sort of farewell tour. From what I understand, at least, like you said, that you didn't want to perform any more accept songs for a while.
Yeah, that was also,
What's going to happen with this project after that? If this is
over.
just
so
over.
We have one more show to do in Mallorca.
Yeah.
This is also the last show for Fitti.
Okay.
And with Dirkschneider, I mean, it was not planned to do this for that long time. You know? I mean, we did it nearly 3 years, nearly 300 shows. It was just planned in the beginning to do. We want to make a little break with U.D.O. And then we said, okay, you know, the people was always asking, oh, why you're not playing more except songs and this and this and this. And then the idea was coming up to say, yeah, okay, maybe we do 10, 15 special shows all over Europe in the main cities as Dirkschneider, and we only play accept songs. And the whole thing was exploding, you know. It was like, what's going on? So, and then, then I said, that was also a big discussion, you know, and also I was not really sure to do this for a long time, you know. I said, oh. But, I mean, be honest, I mean, it was a big success, and also for me, you know, that shows me what the people want to hear, the original voice. So, and, but now, I mean, this is now enough, you know. I mean, I was playing nearly all the most interesting songs of Accept on these two tours, what I did. And, you know, what I say at the moment is, if you want to hear Accept songs, then go to Accept. They are still on the tour. Mark is doing his best on the songs, you know. Okay, it's not the original voice, but you can hear the songs. And the people say, yeah, what happened then when they maybe split up and you still continue? I said, okay, this is the little door. If they split up and I'm still continue with touring, then maybe I play some Accept songs again. Why not? But at the moment, it's for me, no. I only play now U.D.O songs. I mean, now we have 16 U.D.O albums. It's already a nightmare to put a setlist together, you know, the track. But and also be honest, I want to go a little bit away about all this comparing, you know, who is playing the songs better, the Accept songs. I mean, come on. Also, finish this, you know. There were so many stupid things written, you know, and I'm like, no, forget it.
And but the last tour you did a different set list, and you had this songs which are less popular, like maybe less popular in terms of you played them less live, or maybe you didn't even play them live before. That's interesting because I very often hear the point of view that like some musicians prefer to only include the songs which are known by other people, like widely, so that people, like the audience, would react in a certain more or less predictive way. But you did something completely opposite. I mean, I understand you still included some of the hits, but what do you think about this idea of?
I mean, that was like, you know, when the people came up, oh, can you do another tour with Dirkschneider? And I said, yeah, okay, but then I have to change the set list. And in a way, maybe I got the right feeling for it, which songs I have to put in. Let's, for example, Can't Stand the Night or Russian Roulette. Russian Roulette we was playing only once on a tour. Can't Stand the Night we never played live. And also Another Second to Be, for example, the songs. And okay, I mean, for me it was, let's say, in a way easy. If I, let's say, after a couple of shows, maybe found out that it's not the right song, then I can change quickly. You know. So, but I think I was right. The people really enjoyed it and was like, wow, this kind of songs, you know. And yeah. So I mean, then that means in a way I did some songs they never played with Accept, and I think that people enjoyed it and were really happy.
But you were not worried that they would not react as much as they could if it was hit.
It was let's say, of course, if you're doing the hit parade, you know, it's like that it's a party the whole show. And this was a little bit more like the people was more listening to it. You know, there was more music going on. And that was also good, you know. I mean, of course, in the end you played like the famous songs like Metal Heart, Father, Shark, Walk to the Wall, you know. But it was interesting for some songs to see. It was people was like really listen to the music. It's also interesting, you know. You don't need always like 2 hours and keep going, you know. So okay, on festivals it's more like when we come up to with the summer festivals now this year. That was like we said, okay, now we have to play the hit parade again. Festivals is party time, you know. So and yeah. Then the last show will be now in Mallorca, and I will be again 2 or 3 songs from the second Dirkschneider tour again. So we have to play nearly 2 hours. And that will be, I don't know, a lot of people was asking me, how is the feeling when you do this for the last time? I said, I don't know, we will see. But
we haven't played it the last time yet, so
we will see what's coming up.
Yeah.